So it's Manchester United away. Question of the day for you guys: what is your favourite opening game of the season for Chelsea? Because there's quite a few for me. I think back to Burnley, 3-1 a few years ago under Jose. Fabregas's amazing assist for Andre Schürrle. Even think back to a 4-5 against Manchester United. Idiger Johnson's goal that kicked off that amazing title-winning season under Jose. So there's lots of them, but definitely tell me your opinions on that, and also give me your opinions on this Premier League fixture list. Do you think it's more difficult? Do you not really care in terms of that? Do you think it's the same? We're going to play each team twice. It doesn't really matter what order that comes in. And let me know, because I am interested in your opinions, because this specific fixture list has thrown up some interesting fixtures, most notably Manchester United. You can't miss it. It's the opening game of the season at Old Trafford. It could have been more difficult. I think of like the Etihad or Anfield. Probably I'd probably put above Old Trafford in terms of that. But Old Trafford is always such a difficult ground to go to, especially in recent years regarding Chelsea. I can't think of in terms of winning there in the league. We have to go back, I feel like, to 2013 was the last time we won the league there. So quite a fair few years back there. And yeah, it's going to be such an interesting game, and there's so much uncertainty surrounding Chelsea, which is interesting, exciting, and also frustrating as well, sitting here talking to you, because we don't know who the manager is going to be. It could be Sarri. I will assume that it will be Sarri, but there's so many people telling me that no, it's not going to be Sarri. It could be Frank Lampard. It could be someone else. There's so much up in the air regarding Chelsea, and then you look across to Manchester. There's so many players at that club that could be on their way out. So it's always hard. I sort of take the stance when looking at a fixture list of being like, well, yeah, there are some interesting games, and you're always going to look towards the big games, the London derbies, what's going on around Christmas, which we'll break down here, which are all interesting things to look at. But I'm not going to come on here and tell you this is our plot to the title, or this is our plot to get back in the Champions League. So many variables in terms of football, and so many things can change. Not only before now in June to the start of the season at Old Trafford, but also during the season itself. So it's just interesting and exciting as fans. I feel that there are certain things that maybe people don't pick up on that I always think are quite interesting to sort of delve into. So we'll go into that. Firstly, London derbies, which I know a lot of Chelsea fans will be interested in. Tottenham and Arsenal. What's really intriguing this year, which has probably made it really difficult for us, is we're facing Tottenham and Arsenal away either sides of Christmas. Before Christmas, we travel to Tottenham, and after Christmas, we travel to Arsenal in the Emirates. So, and I think wedged between that is a home game to Southampton, which we'll come to. But yeah, we go to Spurs' new stadium on the 21st of December. So that should be an interesting game. And of course, the Emirates is always a difficult game in itself. And then the return fixtures not long after that is at home to Arsenal on the 22nd. And then a month later at the Bridge at home to Tottenham on the 22nd of February. So those are some interesting fixtures. Quite cool that they sort of come so close to each other. And of course, if you remember around that time, FA Cup, League Cup, and we have faced both Arsenal and Tottenham in recent years in FA Cup and League Cup. So you never know like what could throw up there. We could be playing both of those sides multiple times within that short space of time around Christmas, where it's so vital. So yeah, that's quite challenging, but also quite exciting to have so many London derbies around them. Also, Manchester City, our trip to the Etihad is scheduled for the 23rd of November, and then the 21st of March will be at home to them. So we did beat them at home last year, but of course, I try to forget what happened away. We'll just breeze through that. And then Manchester United, who of course we're facing on the start of the season, will be facing either on the 8th or the 15th of February. Interesting thing about that is those specific dates that have been laid out are the 2 weeks where we're going to have this mid-season break. So they're going to split the fixtures in half, where half will play one weekend and the other will play the other. So each set of teams in those two sets of fixtures will have 1 week off to rest. Quite interesting to see how that pans up. It's quite cool that football fans aren't going to be left without no football for 2 weeks. We actually do get football, which is cool. And the other big team to, of course, talk about is Liverpool, who visit Stamford Bridge similar time to last year, 21st of September. And we go to Anfield in our last away game of the season on the 9th of May. So those are all the big games of the season, the big top six duels that you sort of look out for. But what I also find intriguing, and I've done this in previous years as well, is that when we're in European competition, is to see fixtures surrounding our group games, because those are always ones that trip teams up, having to play twice in a week. And more in terms of miles accumulated for the team and who we're going to have to face. So these are the games after our Champions League group games. We're going to be playing Liverpool, Crystal Palace, West Ham and Bournemouth at home after European fixtures, and the other two European fixtures are going to be followed by away trips to Southampton and Burnley. So in truth, I'd say that's quite good. I remember in previous years we've had to go to like Newcastle away after one of our Champions League games. So that could be, that's probably a fair hand, I have to say. And I'd probably say that if you look at other teams, they've probably got a difficult deal from it as well. So I'd say we've been quite lucky in those sort of games. Of course, it all depends on who we're getting in our group stage and how big the travel is. I think, the worst one there, I see Burnley away. The worst one is we have some Eastern European game in midweek, and then we have to travel to Burnley on a Sunday. So that's probably the worst way it could fix. Hopefully the way the fixtures work out is we're actually at home before Burnley, so that would probably be the perfect thing. And Southampton, of course, isn't the worst trip, as we know. Next thing to cover is, of course, the festive fixtures. So Boxing Day, New Year's Day. I've already said that Southampton are at the Bridge on Boxing Day. Always nice to have a home game on Boxing Day. I just love home games around that time. It's just lovely festive time. Chelsea game after Christmas Day. It's always a nice thing, and usually we get a good result. So hopefully that can continue. And then we're also playing another South Coast team on New Year's Day as we travel to Brighton, another team who we've really had good results against since they returned to the Premier League. So that's it in terms of the fixtures. Just want to go back to Manchester United as the first game. As I spoke earlier about the amount of variables and the sort of, we don't know what's going to be going on with Chelsea regarding them, and also regarding Manchester United and their squad. I mean, I would say that one thing's for certain, it's going to be pressure. It's going to be a big start for both managers, whoever takes the field and whoever is in the dugout. The thing is with Chelsea is right now, is, as I've already mentioned, not only are we talking about the manager situation, which I'm sure is going to be rectified, or hopefully Chelsea fans get some sort of answer in the next couple of days, but also the transfer ban. Chelsea, we thought, had submitted a application of a request to have the transfer ban froze through CAS. That from Matt Law has been denied. That apparently hasn't happened. So once again, Chelsea look like they will be sticking with the transfer ban, so not going to be able to sign any players. But if that changes, of course, we could have some new players coming in. So all of that stuff is still very much up in the air, and that very much will determine and shape the outlook of how we go into the season, our mindset going into the season as well. There's a lot of fear about the amount of injuries we have at the moment to players like Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek. Also, the hole that needs to be filled with Eden Hazard leaving for Real Madrid. Who's going to replace that? How are we going to fill that gap of creativity, that gap of goals, that gap of inspiration and class? Without the ability to sign any players, that really has to come from sort of a team effort. And will one of the younger players who gets a chance step into that role? We're not sure yet, and that seems very unlikely for a younger player. So there's so much stuff in the air, but overall I'd say it's actually quite exciting to finally get the fixtures and to look at them and to delve into them. Of course, take them with a grain of salt, because as I've demonstrated, things can change and there's so much up in the air, but it's exciting to finally put last season behind us and look forward to the 1920 season. Of course, we've got VAR coming in, which is going to have a massive influence and change within the league of how games operate, of how decisions are made. That in itself is going to be a big debate that I'm sure we're going to be having on a weekly basis. And as well, just the shenanigans of Chelsea and the weekly unpredictability of being a Chelsea fan, I'm sure will crop up as it is currently, but I'm sure as the season goes on, all the permutations around that. So I'm excited about the new season. I hope you guys are excited about the new season as well. Leave your comments down below so we can continue the discussion about this, about Chelsea's fixtures and about the future, really, because it seems so unpredictable regarding our club. But let's be honest, when is it not regarding Chelsea? But before I go, I have to address the elephant in the room, which is, of course, my channel being back. It's been something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and something that I've been toing and throwing about whether I should bring the channel back, whether I had a place on YouTube, whether I felt like I could bring something to the discussion. But I think a lot of this thanks goes to Eunice, who had me on his channel a few months back, and I just felt like there was more for me to discuss. I've continued talking about Chelsea, just as I always do, with my mates, with my family. And this is sort of a way to stop annoying them, I think, to come back and sort of just stop bugging them about Chelsea. So maybe just it's a nice sort of therapy for me in some ways, as much as it can be, and as crazy as football can be for us. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be making content that I love, that I'm passionate about. That it's coming from a place of just pure passion for the club I love, and I hope that comes across. And I hope that you guys who were there before continue to support the channel, and I hope new subscribers and new followers to the channel are able to join me on this journey, as well as we hope to grow this channel. And as you can see, new setup, new look, but yeah, I'm very excited, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy the content that's coming. So thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you again.